All right, happy New Year's Eve. Hopefully everyone is good out there. Stay safe today. A happy 2022. Here's the better things ahead, right? It's only going to get better, hopefully, for 2022. And of course, thanks for watching these videos and for your support as always. So we've got a trade. First trade since October 6th, right? We're almost... would it take about 10 weeks to do a deal, and it's actually a basketball-related trade when Cleveland has acquired Rajon Rondo. Denzel from the Lakers, Denzel Valentine goes to the Lakers, and I figured we might as well do a little bit of a video. This is not going to be a 10-minute video. This is a 5-minute video, and it can't be 10 minutes because my dog is sitting outside my door, and I think she has to go outside. She's actually just sitting here waiting. So let's do a little video. All right, for Cleveland. We knew when Ricky Rubio went down, which is a terrible injury for Cleveland, for Rubio, who's having a career year. I've wrote about it. Probably one of the best transactions of the offseason for Kobe Altman. That help was kind of on the way, and help was needed, right? They had Darius Garland, who's played at an all-star level. Their backup was Kevin Pangos, who they signed in the offseason, but is a career European player. No NBA experience except for the games he's played, and Rondo gives them, hey, we know the track record of Rondo, we know the veteran of Rondo, an extension of this coaching staff. I think he's going to be great for this young group. We'll see. Is he going to be playing Rubio minutes, 25 to 30 minutes? I don't see that. I think he's probably a 15-minute guy. It's a no-risk trade for Cleveland, especially kind of how it works out. So Rondo's on a veteran minimum contract, right? So you don't have to send out salary the match when a player's on a veteran minimum. I'm actually watching the Rutgers Wake Forest game from a guy from being in New Jersey. Sorry, I've stopped the train of thought here. So I've got that up as a distraction right now. But Rondo is on a veteran minimum exception. You do not have to match salary. So he's got a $1.7 million cap hit. Cleveland could have just taken him back without sending out a player. They could have just waived a player. Why they sent out Valentine is that they were only $3.1 million under the luxury tax. So if they would have just taken Rondo and waived Valentine, they would have been charged $847,000. So that means something. So instead of being $3.3 million under the tax, they would have been like 2.5. And we'll see what Cleveland has in store when we get closer to the deadline. But that $847,000 will mean something. And that's kind of the mindset why Cleveland elected to send out a player and why Cleveland elected to not waive him, which would have been the easiest thing. Yeah, Cleveland could have sent out cash, taken in Rondo, and it would have been a clean deal. But instead, they sent out the player. The Lakers are going to now waive him likely. And I'm going to talk about the Lakers in a minute. So Rondo, $1.7 million cap hit there. For salary purposes, his salary is $2.6 million, but for cap purposes, because he's on a 10-year veteran minimum exception, it's $1.7. Cleveland is now $3.3 million under the luxury tax, and that means something, right? Remember, instead of being 3.3, they could have been to 2.5, 2.6. So it's a smart move. Cavaliers create a trade exception based on what is guaranteed to Denzel Valentine. He had 2 years left at the time of the trade. 847,072 was his guarantee number. So that basically is what the trade exception is created for. The Lakers, we talked in the video during the week, and I talked about it with Brian Windhorst. What's happened with some of these hardship exceptions, especially a guy like Stanley Johnson who has started, it's making players on the back end of the roster expendable. And I know Rondo's been in health and safety, but has not played a lot of minutes here. Certainly, it's probably a guy like DeAndre Jordan has made them more expendable. Johnson's hardship was about to expire on January 2nd, and I think the Lakers only have one player left in health and safety protocol. I think it's Trevor Ariza. And they were going to have to make a decision here. So from the Lakers' perspective, okay, how do we trade a player, not waive a player, take back a little bit of salary, and basically have a wash. Basically, all salaries offset. I said yesterday the goal for the Lakers was to break even here. It's funny when Rondo was mentioned here. Laker fans are sending me questions. It's like, do you think we're getting a first round pick? Do you think we can get a second round pick? And I said no. That's not the value of where Rajon Rondo is right now. He's not a first round grade. He's not a second round grade. I think he would have been maybe more waived, or as we just saw this type of trade here. He's not at that level right now where you can get value back. So from the Lakers' perspective, right, they could have just sent out Rondo, but they would have had to take something back. Either a draft pick, cash. As we talked about for Cleveland, the goal was to send back salary. So Denzel Valentine goes back to the Lakers. He had 2 years a 2-year contract, 1.9 cap hit, partially guaranteed contract. If he is waived on Friday, and what's going to happen is both teams are going to waive the physicals and reporting, and we'll see Denzel Valentine waived on by the time the 5 o'clock deadline comes for waivers. 847,072 is his cap hit, right? So that goes to the dead cap hit pile, and then what that allows the Lakers to do when Stanley Johnson hardship expires on January 2nd, for them to sign him to a veteran minimum contract. His number would be right around 930. The Lakers play on January 4th. I could see them. That's when they would sign that contract. So it's almost a wash. It's about $400,000, an additional $400,000 as it relates to the luxury tax. And if the Lakers' luxury tax was $45.7 million they owed before this deal, after this, including if you sign a player like Stanley Johnson, it's $46.1 million. So it's kind of almost like a break equal. If the Lakers had decided, you know what, we weren't going to do a Rondo deal, we're just going to cut bait with him, with Rondo, we're going to waive him, we're going to be responsible for a salary, we're going to open up a roster spot, we're going to sign Stanley Johnson, it would have cost them an additional $3.1 million, which means something. I get it. People are saying, well, like, all these owners are billionaires. $3 million, $13 million, $12 million, it means something as far as when it comes to the luxury tax. I always joke about the tax when owners have to pay it. You're not paying it like college tuition where you're paying it in installments. You are paying that in one lump sum. So instead of a $46 million or $49 million tax penalty, it's 46. It means something there. Trust me. I mean, it really does. I know the Lakers are valued at a lot, but a $3 million savings means something. So that is a little bit about Rondo for Denzel Valentine. It's a win-win for both teams. It's a no-risk move for Cleveland. It's a financial move and basketball move for the Lakers, where you can get rid of Rondo's salary, and then you can go out and perhaps sign a player like Stanley Johnson, who has started for you. So that's what I got on a Friday, December 31st, last day of 2021. I hope everyone is doing great out there. I feel good. I'm motivated. I'm energized. I got out of quarantine, slept in my bed last night. It was nice. So have a great 2022, and we will talk soon.